behind every success, there's a whole heap of people that you draw on, and that's what we're doing throughout this series. We're drawing on the expert and expertise of a whole heap of different people, not only through COVID, but through business in general. And we're very fortunate, very lucky to have someone who I rate really highly in the world of digital marketing. He is a growth hacker. He specializes in metrics. So everything he does is based around metrics, and that way he can assure that the results are on the board. I like to also call him a friend, because we've known each other for a while, and we have the same sense of humor, a bit wicked, and we have kind of a fetish for headphones as well. Guys, please let me introduce you to Danny Hersee from Black Lion Digital. Danny, did I do you justice, mate?
You did me great, mate. You did me great.
Except the headphones.
Yeah. Well, I have so many pairs now, so just testing through them all. There's that metrics, yeah.
But look, I've just given you a quick intro there, but can you just take a moment just to explain yourself, what you do, and perhaps even share how you got into this digital marketing space?
Yeah. So, yeah, a bit about me. I'm the director, owner of Black Lion Digital, who we are a digital marketing agency. And we specialise mostly in Facebook ads, but also do a lot of growth hacking as well. So for some business accelerators like Slingshot that run programs with HDF, News Corp, big corporations like that, they'll get me in to go through all their startups and scale-ups and how they can accelerate their business really quickly, just playing around with the algorithms of what the platforms want. Yeah, a bit about my story is, people are always shocked with this. And I'm a little thrown off, Quinn, because your screen is actually frozen for me. So you're in this really funny pose right now. Yeah. Yeah, cool. No, that's all right. Looks like you're blowing me a kiss. So, yeah, so how I started is, usually something that people never guess after talking with me, but I used to be a house painter. Everyone in my family were house painters since 1901. So I was a fifth generation, and everything was great. I had my own business, really expensive painter, and never going to run out of work. And then just went, this isn't for me. This isn't what I want to do. If I wake up in 5 years from now and I'm still doing this, I won't be happy. So I just looked around at a couple other things that I wanted to try out. And I teamed up with a mate of mine, Dinus, who was running Black Lion Digital a long time ago as a web agency. And we partnered up together, and I started to get into marketing, and I really enjoyed it. And then I became really, really good at it. And then from there, I just took Black Lion from not really having any clients in it to now a bit of a powerhouse around marketing. And we still do some web development as well, but we predominantly just focus on marketing. And I guess a big point of difference for us is for a lot of clients, once we build up a relationship with them, is we work on a paid on performance basis. So we have such confidence in our ability that we'll put our money where our mouth is, where we get paid on a result. So generally a result of some kind of metrics or a revenue share, or sometimes an equity split. So yeah, people tend to come to us because we know what we're doing. We're not just another agency out there that's saying all the fluff words and all the gimmicks. So we like to be more around results and metrics based. It's all just math. I like to say I'm a sexy accountant. So
and kind of we'll delve into this in a lot more detail later on, but especially with COVID and the whole being stuck inside, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've noticed a lot more so-called marketers jumping on board in the online space. And it's at the end of the day, you get what you pay for. And I really like what you've done there, as in not only can you talk the talk, you're also prepared to back yourself and walk the walk. by putting your money where your mouth is, which is not a very common business model out there.
No, it's very. I don't find many other marketers that will do it, and I understand because you're carrying the risk. We carry a bit of a risk. That's why we don't do it straight off the bat with people. We find a relationship first because marketing is one part, but sales can be another. Unless it's a completely online business, they've got to still close the leads that we bring in. So they don't do that, then nobody's getting paid. So, but yeah.
Oh, mate, that's a cool story. It's getting more and more common that people are starting to follow what they're actually passionate about and what they love instead of staying stuck in that same laneway that our parents and our grandparents and our great grandparents did, because it's a different time and we have the opportunities to pursue what we want these days as well, which is a really cool story. Completely 180, not 360. 180.
Yeah, I know some people do go, oh, you did a complete 360. I'm like, then I'd still be paying because I'd be back where I started. Yeah, no, I say that to a lot of people. I actually have a mentee, this young guy, and he's great. And he's loves telling people, he's like, whenever he hears someone complaining like, oh, I just don't like this, but what else can I do? So you can literally do anything. Like this day and age, you can just learn stuff online. Like it doesn't matter what you want to do, or you can just go, you can easily change everything. It's not like back in the day where you really had to know people to get into a job. Right now, you can sort of create what you want to create online. So it's great.
Yeah. We're just sticking on this for maybe one more point. If someone was to, as you said, this is a great time where we're stuck inside. You can access so much information and all that kind of stuff. If someone really wanted to pursue a different path, I guess what would be the key thing for them to, take on board to do this?
I've actually had this question quite a bit before, and what I like to boil it down to is looking at what you value. What do you really enjoy doing and are passionate about? For me, I had a really good passion for business and a really good passion for helping people. And I'd already done some sales stuff in the past and I enjoyed that. But then after you sort of understand that, it just becomes a dance. So I never went, oh, cool, I really like this, I'm going to go do Facebook ads. It was, okay, well, I'm going to try some digital stuff. And then, okay, I tried email marketing for quite a while. And then I was like, oh, and then I did some Google ad stuff. And I was like, oh, this was all right, but I didn't like these parts of it. But these are the parts I did like. Okay, well, then this is a bit more like that. And then I'm sort of just dancing my way to this North Star of what my, current values are, of what I enjoy. Yeah. And then I'm just always dancing there. And I wouldn't say that I'm at the end now. I'd say I'd still be forever dancing. But I'm always getting closer and I'm always enjoying everything more and more. Yeah. So that's probably what I would say is just find out what you really value. What doesn't feel like work as well is always great. And then you don't need to have the actual answer. So I think that blocks a lot of people when they go to start something new is, but I don't know what I want to do. It's like, it's okay, because you find out you've got to learn that just through trial and error. So it's just about dancing towards it.
Oh, 100%. Most definitely. Yeah. And the analogy I always use is whenever you're walking, you never know where you're going, because think of when you're on the beach, you don't see the footprints in front of you. You can see where you come from, but you don't actually know where you're going. You got to actually take the step to leave the footprints behind. And you just got to jump on board and just do it, mate. But cool, mate. I really appreciate you sharing that. Speaking of being able to do anything that you want, we kind of can't at this point in time with all the restrictions and regulations that we've got going on. First and foremost, are you guys, are you and your family healthy, safe with all the COVID and everything else?
Yeah, everyone's safe. Everyone's just doing random phone calls here and there to catch up with people. We've had, for my family, all the birthdays are in April and May. So it's right now it's like, we all want to sort of come and see each other, but we can't. It was my niece's birthday yesterday. It's mine next Tuesday. So it's, we're all healthy and everyone's safe. Everything's great.
Yeah, cool. Good to hear. And now more specifically in regards to business, because we're here to talk about business. As you know, with COVID, kind of having and the regulations and the restrictions put in place by the government, it's having a massive impact on not only how business is run, but also the survival rate or the operations of business. And you can definitely see it. There's been a big shift towards the digital online space, you know, and you being the expert in that field, what are some observations that you notice about, just business in general online, and perhaps also some marketing patterns or trends that you, with your keen eye, would pick up?
Yeah, I would say some major trends that I have seen, I guess from the start, was some people chose to adapt really quick and other people didn't want to. They just went, no, I don't want to do that. So some people, updated their online presence really quickly to see how they could change. And then other people are slowly doing that now. So some of the trends that I've seen is that the businesses that I've seen that are still thriving right now have just pivoted to what they can do, in the way that what can I offer right now? How can I adapt my offer to be online? Because right now, people being online, there's less habits or beliefs that they have around what they will and won't do online. So you can go to the doctor online right now, which is the most intimate thing you could probably do. So when some people tell me like, oh, this is more of a face-to-face thing, it's like, well, people can go to the doctor and show them a rash on their webcam. I think you can. That wasn't me, by the way. That was a real story.
I was concerned for you. Get to check it out.
Yeah. It's a friend of mine. Then there's a lot less barriers because people still want to do things. They just can't because of the restrictions. So if you can offer them something in that way, then they're much more likely to take it. But the other critical aspect of this is people actually talking to them how their mindset is now, not just delivering the same offer. So what I've seen is there's so much more activity online now. Like Facebook and Instagram usage alone since the start has gone up 84%, which is huge because people are already on it quite a bit. But now they're on it even more, which is fantastic in my area because some people have drawn back their marketing because they feel that it's not a good time. I wouldn't agree. And because there's less people on there, it's all an auction. So because there's less people trying to auction for those positions, the auction becomes a bit cheaper. And then on the other aspect, because it's all an auction, they have more supply. They have more demand with less supply. So it's kind of a double win. There's more ads that can be shown, so there's more places, and then there's less people trying to get those. So your cost per acquisition can actually get really low, and cost per impressions are really low as well because your ad can just be seen to so many more people.
Yeah,
which has been fantastic for a lot of our clients.
I think some really, really valid points there, especially with when you started talking about the reduction in the cost of the advertising. It's you wouldn't think that would be the case because everyone's online, but I think you explained it really well that because there is a bit of a fear and a hesitation from other businesses to engage with this, that's how the reduction in price has come about. And with more eyeballs and a lower price, it sounds like it's a pretty good combo to get going, especially. But I want to just tap on the first bit there that you spoke about. And everyone I've spoken to so far has pointed out exactly the same thing you did, that adaptation is the key. You have to be able to, in your words, pivot. But instead of just sitting there and waiting for it to pass, the key, from what it sounds like, is to be proactive about it. I guess, what are some key things what are some things that people who aren't experts in marketing can be proactive about with their marketing?
The the main parts, I would say, for being proactive right now is, one, understanding who your target audience is. Even if you did before, they're not the same people. People have different needs and wants right now. So you've sort of got to understand them again. And I've got a list of questions here. Typically, we go through a taking stock document, which is like getting into the mindset of them to understand them really well, so that we can enter the conversation that they're having in their head. And I can go through them in a sec, but the other points would be, with your offer, it's really trying to accommodate for these changes, as well as speaking to what their current needs and wants are. And the reason why I say both of them is, you should, like I always say, you market to what people want and then give them what they need. If you're always trying to sell people what they need, it's usually very logical. And people buy on emotion first and then logic second. So people, like, anytime I've ever bought anything off Instagram, it's gone like any impulse buy, I should say. That's just where I do my impulse buying. I buy it, go, this will be great. And then, you know, if the product's good, then the logic kicks in and says, oh yeah, this was functional, this is really good. If it's not there, then I get buyer's remorse and say, oh, I just got excited, I shouldn't have done that. But if you only have the logic, then people just have that, they don't have that buy-in. And then the other key area is your online presence. You know, is it drawing people in, or is it pushing them away? Because where people are online more than ever, and if for the people, especially the people that used to rely on word of mouth a lot, where that's definitely gone down dramatically, then your online presence is kind of your salesman. That's the person that's selling for you 24/7 when people are browsing your site, and they're either doing a good job or they're doing a bad job. And I've got a few points that I can make on that as well. I guess, just to elaborate on them, if you want me to go down those rabbit holes, knowing your target audience. Knowing your target audience. You know, if you don't really understand them, then it's hard to really engage them, because you're kind of just, when you're speaking to everybody rather than a single person, it doesn't really resonate with them, and they're less likely to take action. And marketing isn't about, and I say this, and there's a lot of people online right now that, you know, their marketing message of why you should choose them as an agency is, we can get anyone to buy anything. And that's such a flawed philosophy, because marketing isn't about pushing your product onto somebody who doesn't need it or want it. It's about offering the right thing to the right person, and then people just scoop it up. So understanding your target audience really well just makes that message market fit for everything to run really smoothly. So a couple of things, you know, it's usually a longer list, but I think just a couple of questions just to really consider about people's target audiences that can help. Is number one is thinking about what is their core problem. So what's the core problem that they need to overcome? You know, and this is what it all really boils down to, is what they believe their core problem is. It's not what you believe, like, oh, this is their problem. That's probably right, but it's really about what they think their core problem is that they need to overcome. So having an idea of what that is, and there could be more than one of them. And also, I would, for all these questions, if you have multiple different types of target audience, for example, a conveyancer would have first home buyers, mums and dads or second home buyers, real estate agents, you know, all of these would be different. So I would do this per person rather than this is for everybody. And then I would dive into what behaviours do they display because of this problem. So what are they physically doing because they have this problem? You know, are they continually asking people around them of who they trust of what they should do, or are they researching problems? Or are they just plain avoiding a part of their life because they have this problem? Really having a look at that. And this can really help with your messaging to say, you know, are you doing this all the time? And it's like, I know you are, because I've listed out the behaviours that you're doing. But that will cut through to a market that has that problem and is doing that behaviour. Like, oh, this person understands me. You know, what is this about? and they're much more likely to actually be influenced and engaged. And then these next two, these are really good to really get inside their head is, what are the top 5 things they think are the answer to their problem? Yes. And then what are the top 5 things that are the answer to their problem? Depending where their awareness is at. So when I say market awareness, we generally say, and I didn't make this up, this is from a very famous old book, one of the best marketers that's ever been around, Eugene Schwartz, is people can just be unaware completely about a problem or a solution at all. And then the next stage would be problem aware. So they're aware that they've got a problem, but they don't know what they can do about it. And then the next stage would be solution aware, where they understand this is the answer in general. And then the 4th stage would be, they're product aware, they understand about you, and then most aware is people know about everybody and all the prices and everything like that. So looking at your target audience, they'd be somewhere on that scale. So where people, the top 5 things they think are the answer, they're going to be different per person. And this is the things that they've been telling themselves all the time. Like, every time this problem becomes an issue for them because of their behaviors, they're going to be thinking, I've really got to do this, or, I hate that this is a problem and there's nothing I can do about it. So understanding what they think around what the answer is to their problem can really help you cut through. And then actually giving them the answers to what the problem is really good for your content, because if they need to be educated to be to another stage of awareness where they're ready to buy, then educating them about what the actual answer is and giving them like an aha moment, like, I didn't think of it that way. Then that's when people get a height of excitement and they're much more likely to be influenced to take further action with you, because you become an authority because you've just solved part of their day. And then the last one, because I won't go through all of them because we don't have all day, is how will their average day change after engaging with your company? So I think the key point here is that people don't buy your product or service because they want it. It's actually the obstacle in the way of what they actually want. For example, people don't join the gym to exercise necessarily, like as a broad statement. They want what the exercise will give them. People will hire a personal trainer because they want to look fitter or they want to feel a lot healthier. It's generally not because they want a personal trainer. So generally, whatever your product, like people don't get me to market for them because they want me to market. They want revenue, they want results. So generally, if you look at the transition or the desired end state of what your service does, and you understand what that does for these people and how it changes their everyday, that's what you want to put in your messaging. That's what you want to explain to people, like, this is how your life would be afterwards. Generally the benefits, not the features. Features are more logical. This is more emotional and feelings.
Most definitely. I can totally resonate with that, and mate, lots of nuggets of gold in there, especially right at the start where you're talking about messaging and target audience, and how everyone, you say that everyone's you can sell your product to everyone, and that's a common thing that most business owners, when they start up or when they're new to business, say, I'm going to sell it to everyone, and myself included. When I started, I was like, I'm going to help everyone out there. I'm going to help all businesses. I'm going to help, all leadership teams. I'm going to help all executive, do this thing. But when you're so broad in your messaging, you generate no leads. You generate no leads because your message just skims over the top of everyone's head. And because you generate no leads, when you do get a nibble, you become desperate in the conversation, in the sales conversation. And the thing is, desperation stinks. It reeks, and the other person can smell it off you coming a mile away. And so when that happens, you put massive pressure on yourself to make the close the sale, make sure you try to seal the deal, but then you don't. So cash flow becomes an issue, and then cash flow just brings this whole other kettle of fish that adds even more pressure. So then becomes like a vicious cycle. Like, man, I just want to get anyone. I want to throw anyone. But the turning point for me is refining my marketing message, and instead of, yes, we can work with different people, but fine tuning your message, as you said, have a particular message for this type of person, and then have another message for this person, because yes, you can help them, but the way you communicate it to them is completely different. The way the content that you produce for them is completely different. And once I started to do that, I started to gain some traction. I found that my message was hitting the brief, and people could understand what I was talking about, and they were resonating, and they're like, yeah, you know definitely what you're talking about. You know your shit,
Yeah.
and then you're able to, and we're in it to help, and then you're able to help them, it comes down to. So definitely for me, that key turning point was fine tuning my message, to your ideal client, but then having several messages, knowing that yes, I may be able to work with different people, but having several messages for each particular person, which is, I'm sure, everyone can do that. It takes a bit of time because you have to think about it, but the message will resonate and will hit if you're able to do that.
Yeah, the idea is not to be 2 kilometers wide and then 2 centimeters deep on each of them. It's more be 2 centimeters wide and go 2 kilometers deep on that person.
100%. 100%. So we talked about messaging and why social media is really key right now. Can you create a bad post? Because we're talking about good messaging and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Can you have a bad post? Can you have a bad message?
Well, yes and no. Yes, in the way of like being ridiculous, in the way that like, oh yeah, if you swore at people that are your target audience, like that'd be a bad post. But I think what a lot of people get caught up with right now is going, oh, I want to do all this stuff and my message has got to be perfect for these people. More content is better than polishing. So it's not about having perfect content to go out there. It's about having content go out there. And what I've seen a lot with our clients and, a lot with when we train people up, it's you're going to get better the more that you do it anyway. So it's not about being the best at it and then you're going to start doing it. It's about just start putting content out there. Gary Vee talks a lot about this. It's just about putting more and more out there, and not everyone's going to see your posts anyway. Another thing I get a lot of clients say, and this is not to influence people to be repetitive, but not everyone's going to see every single post. So when they're worried, oh, we did something about that 6 weeks ago. Yeah, and people either don't remember or they didn't see it. So when you actually post on Facebook, just as an organic post with no money behind it, organic reach has actually dropped quite considerably since the very beginning. Right now it'll show on average 2% of people that follow your page. And then if no one engages with it, so likes, comments, shares, then it sort of dies out. So it's kind of like the Facebook feed and other areas are sold out. So there were so many people advertising on there, paying to be on there, that you don't see everything. So if you think about all the friends that you have, all the groups that you're in, all the pages that you're on, or that you follow, you're not going to see everything. So unless it's engaging content, not a lot of people are going to see it. So when people are worried about, oh, but this isn't good stuff, just keep putting stuff out there and then measure it. So if you do start to get a lot of engagement on certain posts, go, oh, well, a lot of people really liked when I spoke about this. Maybe I'll do more content about that, and start to go deep in those areas. A really good tool that can help if you're wondering what content to do is if you Google answer the public, what you can do, and I'll make sure I add that into these notes, is what it'll do is you put in your keywords or your industry or something like that, and it's going to give you the top search results around what people are asking. It'll give you all the questions, prepositions, and related searches. So that way you can see what people are asking around your industry and make content around that. And it'll give you a huge mind map So you can kind of never run out of ideas to sort of go into. And that's just sort of to fuel yourself to find more and more stuff. So,
Yeah, that's great. And then that will naturally lead to having more attention, more eyeballs on your own social media presence and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, your content will be more engaging and more relevant because you're actually answering questions and answering the topics of what people are already wanting to know. So you're entering the conversation in their head before you've had a conversation with them. So they're much more likely to engage and to refer your content and stuff like that because it's actually quality stuff that they wanted to know rather than a lot of people do a lot of content talking about how good their business is. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It definitely has its place, but it shouldn't be your core content that you're doing all the time. This is how good we are. Because it's not about how good you are. It's about how well you help your clients.
100%. You hit the nail on the head there because as human beings, we actually think in terms of problems and solutions, when we're looking to buy something. One, you could be buying something because of shiny eye syndrome, oh, look, I want that because it's brand new, it's sparkling. Everyone, heaps of people buy the new iPhone just because it's a new iPhone. They really need it? No.
Or new headphones.
That's right. Or people go, I have a problem. What is the solution to my problem? And that's generally a key component of the decision-making process. And as someone who markets and as a business coach who helps people with marketing and sales, they have to be able to communicate that really well, because if you can communicate it to them, then they will, the person you're speaking to, the prospect, the lead, will get an understanding. You'll help them build that rapport, and they go, hey, he knows what I'm talking about. He can understand my line of thinking, and it just makes them easier to work with moving forward. Do you mind if I just quickly show something, that a really simple tool that I use with myself and most people on how to just get your thinking down. So, and going back to the marketing message, if you're able to think of it in terms of problems, what are their current problems? So whenever you're doing this, you always have a particular client or a particular avatar or ideal client in mind, because you can come up with heaps of problems for everyone across the board. But if you can pinpoint down specific problems for them, that'd be great, because they can relate to you. And then if you're able to share a solution that is, that can resolve that, even better. But as you said before, they want to know how much better it will make their life. So what are the outcomes of you being able to solve that solution for them, or solve that problem for them? And if you can paint all three of those columns there, you will definitely, I'm just going to come back now, you will definitely be able to connect with them. You'll be able to definitely connect your service or product with them much more strongly, and that will definitely, as you go, it then becomes the first step of your business, being able to attract leads, make the sales, and then deliver what you need to deliver. But I can't, I guess, reiterate how strongly that, as you know, the message has to be precisely to a laneway that you want to communicate with.
Yeah, 100%. And just to extend off that, because that's all great, and that's all stuff that we look at as well, like problem and solution, and what is the end outcome. Is when we're doing specifically the messaging of that. We use a before and after state table, which I can add into this, which is we look at what do they have before and what do they have after. And then we look at, okay, what's the transition there? What's that main message that we can put in there? And then what do they feel before? What do they feel after? What's their status, like social status, like before and after? And even their average day, and there's like speed and automation. And you can sort of, there's no limit to where they can go, but just looking at, before, these are the problems and stuff that they had, but afterwards, after this solution, this is how it's changed. And that's where you can sort of get some key messaging out of that.
Most definitely, yeah. So you can even be more specific if you wanted to go that far to resonate even more strongly, and make, hit that home run.
Yeah, like I always say, it's kind of two worlds for where you can sort of put most people into two categories for marketing. For things that are more like identity, like you market things as you're this kind of person, that's more like fashion sort of stuff, like clothing. But I think for predominant of my clients and probably your client, or just make an assumption of your clients as well, it's more service. Like they're solving a problem. And for that, it's less about, there is a bit of identity in there, but it's more about problem, agitate, solution. So what is the problem that they have? Sort of twist the knife a bit to make them feel that at the point of where you're marketing to them, and then give them the solution of what the desired end state is at the end, which I think works great with what you just had up before.
Yeah. And I know you mentioned before that you had like you've got some notes there that you're happy to share with everyone. Is that right?
Yeah. Around the offer. So when you're writing up your offer, it really, for the current climate right now, not that it can't be the same, but you should really reflect on, is this still really relevant? And what I would say is that probably two main parts of, can they access it right now? So just, I guess, pivoting or changing in a way where people can take it more online. Like I was saying, if people are doing doctor's visits right now, their habits on a day-to-day basis have changed, and people are much more inclined to take services online. I know, people doing the gym online now. Like, instead of group training, they're doing group training but on a Zoom call. Same as yin yoga or meditations. I've seen a lot of people doing that sort of stuff. So people are much more inclined to take your service. People are much more inclined to take your service online. But the other core part of when you're creating your offer and the messaging around it is thinking about what they value. And this is where sort of selling them what they want rather than what they need, just giving them what they need afterwards, like still doing that. Just two really good examples of this I think one's a really good example is a storage place. So a lot of storage places that, a current offer a lot of them would have would be, we'll give you the first month free. And yes, sometimes price is a core part of what people value out of having storage, but another part of what they value, or a pain point for them, is moving all their stuff in. They really don't want to do that. So a good offer, a lot of places would do, here's a free moving truck for when you go to the storage place. But then someone that we worked with, instead of that, we actually gave them movers to put in all of their stuff. So not just the truck. We knew a big pain point was, they really valued getting all their stuff in. That was just, a pain in the ass for them to do it. So get rid of that barrier. And we just made, what they really value is just having it all in there and then it's done. So we created an offer saying, if you opt in now, then what we can do is not just give you a truck, we'll actually get it all in there for you. So it's all done. So that's something that they valued and wanted. It's not necessarily something they needed. They needed to store their stuff, but we just made that so much easier. So it's just really looking at what does the market truly value out of that. The other example, I will say it, is a gym. So what a lot of gyms do is do a discount of price. And before, this is pre-COVID, but before, the pain or what people really valued out of the gym wasn't that it was too expensive. It wasn't low cost. It was, is it exciting? Is it, am I held accountable? Is it something that I want to keep going to? So Planet Fitness up in Newcastle used to have it was like $3 a week or something ridiculous. And I was like, but they weren't booming because the barrier for people what they truly valued wasn't cost. But then F45, that is like a powerhouse now, and they haven't been around that long, doing 45 minutes of training, and it's fun, it's exciting, it's intensive, and we've got these 10-week challenges that you'll get to X, because that's what they actually valued, was to lose weight and have fun while doing it. That was a much better offer, and they boomed a lot more. So I think with the messaging and what you're actually offering is just looking at what do they actually want out of this. And it's not like a feature or anything like that. It's more of a benefit, what they actually want as an end result. And then what do they truly value out of that? Because if you're giving them what you value or what you think they really need, it just doesn't really resonate with them, and they're less likely to take it up.
Yeah, 100%. And especially in this current climate, and I say current climate as I'm looking out the window and it's beautiful and sunny. I'm talking about the whole COVID climate. Business owners and even people in general, their needs and wants have changed. So their needs and wants have changed, and as a result, what they actually desire has changed. So marketing is not a set and forget kind of thing. It has to evolve. It has to evolve not only as you, the business owner, evolves, but also as the environment around you evolves, because there are so many other variables that can contribute and play a role in influencing what people actually need and want, and what they actually desire at the end of it. Yeah.
And it's a great opportunity to be able to deliver that in a much easier way. That's, some people won't want to go back, which is great, because it can actually be great for businesses. We've seen businesses cut so much costs and get more clients because, their offers change to something more, in their eyes, simpler and easier to deliver. But the market, that's all they really wanted. They didn't need the whole bigger thing, because they didn't really want that. They just wanted the other thing, and they got the results. So,
mate, really cool, mate. We can talk for ages, and when we're both passionate about this, so it doesn't seem like work, mate. Before I let you go, how can people one, get to know more about Black Lion, and two, if they have a question or so, what's the best way to contact you?
If they want to know more Black Lion, they can visit our site, www.blacklion, Lion digital. Even if you put LINE, we also have that, and it's a really funny page. But it's .com. It's not .com.au. But I'll also share like a PDF of a lot of the points that I've said out of today, and that will have a little contact thing down the bottom with a link to, if someone wanted to have a chat, there'll be a link in there to my calendar that you can book in, and we have a quick, 15, 20-minute chat if you wanted to know more or talk about any of this further. Yeah,
mate, awesome. Thank you, mate. It's always a pleasure. It's always fun, especially with your brand new headphones on there.
They feel good. They feel good.
But, mate, really appreciate it, and I'm sure there's heaps of little bits of gold that people can take away, either to help them get through this period or to help them gear up to take advantage of the opportunities at the other side. Mate, have an awesome day, and thank you once again.